Today we will be looking at how to recreate this shot in After Effects, where you can add anything to your walls or floor. First, we need a footage to work off from. I used a site called Pixels and searched for street and selected videos. You can shoot your own footages for this effect. This is the footage I'm using. Up next, open After Effects, create a new project. I'm calling this animated walls. Bring your footage into After Effects. Make sure it has the correct frame rate. Make a new composition from the footage. Rename the composition. Since the footage is too long, I'll be using the first 10 seconds of it. By analyzing the footage, we can see the person in the shot overlaps with the wall where we will be needing to place our element, so we'll need to rotoscope him. Duplicate your layer, rename both, select the upper roto layer and click the Roto Brush tool from the tools panel above. Left click whatever you want to keep or roto, in our case this person in the foreground, and Alt left click to remove any unwanted selections. Hit spacebar and Roto Brush will do its magic. Repeat the process of left clicking and Alt left clicking as per is required. Once you're satisfied with the results, freeze the roto selection. It will speed up the workflow. We will hide the roto layer for now using the shy switch for the layer and composition. Right click our footage and select track camera from the track and stabilize menu. After Effects will automatically track the shot in 3D. Check for the average error. If it's below 1 pixel, we're good to go. So now we need to select a viewpoint from the track wall. Right click and hit create solid in camera. This will create a camera and a 3D solid on our wall. Create a solid for the other wall as well. The track looks pretty solid. Import any picture, video or element you want to place on your wall. I have already created a graphic for this tutorial. It's a bunch of simple elements layered together to create a flowing animation. Select the solid on the wall, press Alt and drag the element composition onto a selected solid. It will replace the solid with the element composition. Now we can scale, rotate and adjust the element to match our foot. Now you can see our element is oriented in the wrong direction. Hit the S key on the keyboard, unlink the scale and add a negative sign on the first value. This will invert it on the x-axis. To add a texture to our element, double click the footage, open its composition, select all the elements in it and pre-comp it. Bring in a texture. I'm using this rough wall texture for this. Place it under the new comp, scale it to cover the whole element and select Alpha Matte from the Matte and Track drop down. Now our element has the rough wall texture. Duplicate the element for the other wall. Select the other solid we created, hit P to bring its position, copy the position from the solid and paste it onto the duplicated element. Adjust its position using a gizmo. Now we have our elements on both sides. Now we can add colors to it. I'm using hue and saturation and colorizing it. We can play around with this. Now we can duplicate this element and create a flowing motion. We can also offset the layer timing to continue with the flowing motion. Now we can unhide the original roto layer and place it above everything, and we are done. We can also use images. The process is the same, but instead of our elements, we will replace the tracked solid with our images. For the images, we need to color match them to our shot, so they better blend in. We can use a curves effect for this, using the separate RGB channels to match the colors to our footage. Using the viewer option, we can view our red channel and select the red channel from the curves effect, then match it to our footage. Repeat this process for the other two channels, green and blue. You will have a perfectly color matched image. I use a roughen edges effect to make my edges a bit more organic and to blend in better. And here you go. We can duplicate it or add as many elements as we want into our shot. Thank you for watching. This is Art of Post.